Hi, my name is Wendy Tillery. I am a Plexus ambassador from Texas City, Texas. I'd like to share with you my testimony today as far as what Plexus has done for me and how it's changed my life. I do know that there's a lot of people out there that may have some type of condition like I had or may doubt Plexus. And does it really work? But I'd like to share with you how it's worked for me. I had always been having health issues since I was in high school. I had endometriosis, I had migraine, chronic UTIs, things like that. And when I was about 20 years old, when I had my son, I had severe preeclampsia with him. Severe preeclampsia is a condition that you have usually with your first child and causes a lot of out of control with your body. Basically, your blood pressure goes sky high, you get uncontrolled edema and swelling in your legs and extremities. And you get very sick from it. You become a very extreme high risk. Which is where I was at. I was beyond high risk. I was at the point where they called in the hospital chaplain right before my delivery, and he had the family called in because he was concerned that I wouldn't survive my son's delivery. Well, I did, and praise the Lord. And had my son, and after you have preeclampsia, once you deliver your child, most cases the preeclampsia subsides. In my case, it did not. I continued to have the blood pressure issues that continued to get worse over the years. A lot of my headaches, I contributed to being migraines. Didn't want to go to the doctor saying, oh, okay, it's blood pressure, put me on more medication. I didn't want medication. And I didn't take it. And I didn't go to the doctor as normal as I should have. And I knew that I needed to because I work in the medical field. But in 2006, I had gotten very sick and was feeling very sick all the time, to the point I was calling in to work sick all the time. My coworkers probably thought, gosh, what's wrong with her? But I was sick all the time. So I went to my doctor, found a doctor on my insurance plan, decided to use it, and go and have a checkup done. And I did. So they did a complete lab work. They ran my blood pressure, all of that. And of course, my blood pressure was sky high, which I knew it would be. And my lab work came back showing I had hypothyroidism and I was diabetic. Those were new to me. Hypothyroidism, I didn't know much about. No one in my family had it, so I didn't know what exactly all that was about. But I know I did research it some when I left there. The diabetes, I was kind of in denial about. I didn't want to believe that I had it because being an x-ray tech, one of the things we do quite often at a hospital is x-ray diabetics. And they are usually on our x-ray table because they've either had an amputation or they're getting an amputation of the feet, the legs, the toes, some part of their bodies being amputated, or they're in renal failure from diabetes. So when he told me I had diabetes, I broke down. I'm not losing my toes. I'm not losing my feet. I'm not losing my legs. And I just didn't want to believe I had it. But he did start me on oral medication for my diabetes, which I didn't take every day. I didn't think I really needed it because I didn't really have diabetes. And it continued to get worse. One night I'm sitting at home on the phone with my friend from out of town. All of a sudden I have this uncontrollable shake in my arm, my right arm. The phone falls to the floor and I couldn't move that part of my body. My brain was telling my arm, pick up the phone, but it wasn't moving. And I didn't know what was happening. My friend, she also works in the medical field, yelling back at me through the phone, I'm going to call 911. And it lasted for about 30 minutes. And I told her, please don't get off the phone with me. I don't know what's going on. So she stayed on the phone with me. And 30 minutes later, it stopped. And I told her, I'm okay now. I'm going to ask my doctor about this tomorrow. I've got an appointment anyway. So I got off the phone with her. And like I said, I felt fine. But the next day I talked to my doctor and told him about what happened. And he told me that I was having a diabetic seizure. Diabetics can have a seizure in just one extremity. And I had never heard of that before, but okay, so I realized then, hey, you need to take your medicine. This is getting worse. So I did. And within 2 weeks after that happened, that incident, my son had gone to Dallas to stay with my sister some, and I was home alone, and I started having the worst pain I had ever felt in my life come through my back, into my chest, and my arm. I had never had a pain like this ever. And I realized when it went down into my arm what was going on. My mother was a cardiology nurse. Me being in the medical field, being in them codes, I knew what was happening. So I grabbed an aspirin. Didn't help. And I thought to myself, I can call 911, or being that I'm blocked from the hospital, I can get in my car and get there before they can get to me, which is what I did. And I drove myself to the hospital, got out in the parking lot. The security officer came over to me and helped me out of my car because I'm clenched over in pain like this, and takes me into the hospital, calls the nurses over, and I'm being put onto a hospital bed in the ER, a gurney, and started giving nitroglycerin tablets, putting on a drip, EKGs, blood pressures, temperature, all this stuff taken. And my EKGs are coming back abnormal. They're all out of control. My blood pressure was over 200. The top number, normal it's 120 over 80 is the normal. Mine was over 200. And I'm being told, ma'am, you're having a heart attack. I'm having a what? A heart attack. I knew I was. Then I just heard I was. And all that I could think of at that time was my child. Because if something happens to me and I don't make it through this, how am I going to tell him goodbye? How is he going to go without his mom? Because he was my world. So they continue working on me. And the next thing I know, I look up and I have an older brother that he and I were never really that close. We weren't the kind of sister and brother that would hug on each other, And he was the only family I had in town, and they managed to get a hold of him. And he comes into the emergency room and hugs me. My brother had never hugged me before. And I realized, this is bad. This is real bad. And they continued working on me and ended up admitting me to the hospital and ran more tests and more tests and more tests. And one of the things they did was a bunch of lab work, which I was getting seemed like every 10 minutes. And the doctor comes in and says, we need you to see a cardiologist, but we do need to tell you your A1C is high. It's 9. 9? The last time they checked it, it was only like 7, 6.87. It's 9 now. That means insulin. I know that. So now, after they kept me in for a while and released me, I followed up with several cardiologists. I had to go back to my primary care doctor to be placed on insulin. I left the hospital with 3 blood pressure medications because of my heart attack. And now insulin too. So then I continued to take that. Luckily I didn't have any blockage in my heart, but I had an enlarged heart. I was having palpitations. I was having the flutters all the time. And I just felt bad all the time. Now I'm taking insulin, and that throws me into another whole loop because my body wasn't used to that, and I was feeling even worse. So I took all that, got married in July of 2012. And at the time, I was probably my heaviest weight when I married my husband. Then by November, I was so sick. When the wintertime rolled around, I got sick. Couldn't breathe. We couldn't go to a restaurant where they were barbecuing, anything, because I couldn't breathe. We couldn't go to festivals where anyone was smoking because all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. So I went to the doctor. Oh, you have bronchitis. And I had bronchitis. They gave me medication. 2 weeks later, I was back, and it went back and forth, back and forth. In the meantime, my blood sugar was going bananas. They couldn't give me the steroids for the bronchitis because of my blood sugar. I was getting it between 400 and 500. On a good day, it was around 350. So November, I was in and out of the urgent care, emergency room, doctor's office. By the end of December, 1st of January, I was admitted to the hospital with double pneumonia because of the chronic bronchitis. Then I was also told, by the way, we need you to see a pulmonary specialist because we believe you have asthma. I have asthma. Yeah, asthma. So I saw a pulmonary specialist, did the pulmonary function test, come back, you have asthma. Here's some inhalers, and here's some breathing treatments. So here's 2 more inhalers, 2 more breathing treatments that I left that office with. Okay. So now I have a whole list of medications that I have to write down when I go to the doctor because I couldn't remember them all. I felt sick all the time. I was medicated all the time. And I knew I had to do something because my life, I was losing my life. I had no life. My life consisted of coming home, laying on the couch or laying in my bed because I had no energy. I couldn't move. And I watched my cousin Tina one day on Facebook, and I noticed she kept posting these pictures of before and after plexus. Plexus? What's plexus? I had never heard of plexus. So I watched her for 2 months, and finally I said, what is this stuff? You know, and me, being one that had already tried numerous fad diets, never worked. I'd even tried prescription diet medication, never worked. And I had no motivation to exercise, by no means. And so finally she explained it to me. And you need to try it. You need to try it. Yeah, let me think about it. And this went on for about 2 months. And finally I'm like, okay, I'll try it because she was driving me crazy. So finally I decided to sign up. Not expecting it to really work, but just more or less to show her, okay, I tried it. And so I only ordered a 30-day supply. And I got it in. She told me how to take it. Within 14 days, I had dropped 14 pounds. 14 pounds, that's almost a pound a day. Well, that was a pound a day, really. I was in shock. Not only that, I would be sitting at work and I would start feeling really faint and real clammy-like. Something was going on. I'd call my doctor. Apparently, my blood sugar was dropping from the 350s to 59. Off some of my medicine I came. He cut me back on it. Went in for a visit. I brought all my Plexus products, showed him what I was taking. He said, I don't know what all this is about. I don't see anything wrong with what you're taking. Keep taking it because it's working. Because my blood sugar was regulating. It was too low, actually. But it was much lower than what it had been. My blood pressure was normal. And he said, keep taking it. Let's monitor this. Come back at the end of the month. Let me see what's going on. So I did. At the end of the month, I came back. Bam. 20 pounds down. First big shocker. Not only that, my blood pressure was below normal. I don't need my blood pressure medicine to come off 2 of those pills because I was taking 3, remember? And the third one, he said, we'll see how you do. We may need to wean you off of this one. And my blood sugar, normal. So I was only on insulin, and he had lowered the dosage. Come back in 3 months. Let's see what's going on. I came back at my 3-month mark. A1C checked again. It was normal. No more insulin. For the first time, no more insulin. Not only that, my blood pressure was still below normal. Come off my last blood pressure pill. So within 3 months, I was off my medications. And I started, so of course the winter months came around and I wasn't sick. I have not been sick since I started plexus. He also, one other thing he did check was my thyroid level, and that had also improved for the first time since I had been diagnosed, where physicians always said diet and exercise are not going to affect your thyroid. Well, guess what? Nothing. I had not done anything different other than plexus, and my thyroid level is getting better. And I've been on it for 11 months because I started August 27th. 11 months, I'm down 65 pounds. I've dropped from a size 3X shirt to an extra large shirt, 18, 20 waist size pants, to now I'm in a size 12, working on a 10. I have not used my asthma inhaler one time since I started plexus. Not needed it. I carry it with me every day, but I have not needed it. The only medication I'm on is my thyroid medicine. I was on over 13 medications that were dropped since starting plexus. No migraines. I have more energy than I've ever had. I have motivation. I want to get up and do things. One of the things that I have gotten up and done is I started about 8-9 months ago an exercise regimen. And I started out doing sit-ups because I had nothing else and couldn't do very many. And now I am addicted to fitness. I work out 6 days a week. I cut my carbs because I wanted to see how diet would, help me drop even more. And I feel better than I've ever have in my life. Because of plexus, I've started a new journey. I am actually just a few weeks away from becoming a certified personal trainer, so that I can help other people on their journeys with fitness and nutrition. But I did want to share this with you today because I believe plexus really works. Plexus changes lives, and I know it changes lives because it's changed mine. I'm a true believer in the products that plexus offers. They're all natural products. And I'm a believer because I'm a product of the product. And I hope that this testimony helps you or someone you know, because I'm a real person. I had real problems. I'm still on my journey. And I'm so thankful that I clicked on my Facebook and saw my cousin that day with her plexus. Because I tell you what, this pink drink really works. Thank you.